Hello again. This is like take, I don't know, maybe seven. No, I'm just kidding. It's definitely take one, two, three, three or four though, of me trying to make this video. So we're gonna do this in a very calm, cool, and collected way without blowing our top. So we are going to look at the second plague of Egypt today. And this morning, please pray for me. I was dealing with a plague of my own in the form of flies. So yeah, that was fun. I left this morning and I came back to a house infested with flies. Just don't know where they came from, appeared out of nowhere. And so then I went crazy spraying everything. And then I made myself sick from the insecticide. So I was pretty much out of commission. But right before that, I was trying to make this video. And then I didn't realize right in the middle of recording it said there was a memory problem, so it didn't record. So I had to delete some stuff, and then I went back to make it again, and I actually just posted one of the versions, and there was no sound, so that's fun. So we're going to try this again, and there's sound this time. Hopefully there's no flies that come, and hopefully I don't pass out from the insecticide. Fun, fun. So, chapter 8 of the book of Exodus. The Lord then spoke to Moses, "Speak to Aaron, stretch out your hand with your staff over the streams, the canals, and the ponds, and make frogs overrun the lands of Egypt." So Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land of Egypt. But the magicians did the same by their magic arts and made frogs overrun the land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, "Pray to the Lord to remove the frogs from me and my people, and I will let the people go to sacrifice to the Lord." Moses answered Pharaoh, "Please designate for me the time when I am to pray for you and your servants and your people to get rid of the frogs from you and your houses. They will be left only in the Nile." "Tomorrow," he said. Then Moses replied, "It will be as you have said, so that you may know that there is none like the Lord our God. The frogs will leave you and your houses, your servants and your people. They will be left only in the Nile." After Moses and Aaron left Pharaoh's presence, Moses cried out to the Lord on account of the frogs that he had inflicted on Pharaoh, and the Lord did as Moses had asked. The frogs died off in the houses, the courtyards, and the fields. Heaps of them were piled up, and the land stank. But when Pharaoh saw that there was a respite, he became obstinate and would not listen to them, just as the Lord had said. Dun, dun, dun. So, let's look up, and I'm sorry, I have to pull it up again. The frogs, gods of Egypt, because this is ridiculous. If you remember correctly, I just had it. Sorry, if you remember correctly, in the last couple of videos that I did on the plagues of Egypt, I was talking about how not only was God punishing the Egyptians and punishing Pharaoh for keeping the Israelites, enslaved and trying to free them, he was also punishing the false gods. He says that. And so the most prevalent false god that was depicted as a frog, and that was associated with the cult of frog worship, which is one of the oldest cults in the ancient Egyptian world, is the false demon goddess Heket, Heket, also spelled Hequet. And Heket was thought to be the giver of life, spirit of the primordial waters, mother of the spirits, associated with birth, death, resurrection, and subterranean realms, especially fertility. Some consider Heket to be the eldest of all Egyptian spirits. She is a goddess of birth, death, resurrection, and all points in between. She helps place the child in the womb and is a guardian of the dead. Heket prevents miscarriages and stillbirth, but she has a dominion over contraceptives. And this is from occultworld.com. Heket and her husband Khnum belong to a band of celestial midwives who assist each dawn with the birthing of the sun. So Khnum sounds like a transgender if he's a midwife. Anyway, Heket is among the spirits who help Isis temporarily revive Osiris in order to conceive Horus. Manifestations. Heket manifests as a frog or a woman with a frog's head. Her hieroglyph is a frog. She is intensely associated with frogs. Her elements are water and air, and her sacred sites are the Elephantine Island. She was traditionally offered frog statues. However, any sort of frog imagery may be appropriate for your occult rituals. Okay, good deal. Now, if we move over to Britannica, this is actually a horribly kids.britannica. Help with your homework. In ancient Egyptian religion and mythology, Heket was a frog-headed goddess who personified generation, birth, and fertility. She was sometimes depicted with the body of a frog. She also probably played a part in the myth of the rebirth of the god Osiris. The worship of the frog was one of the oldest cults in Egypt. Frog gods and frog goddesses were thought to have had a vital role in the creation of the world. Just prior to the annual flooding of the Nile River, frogs would appear in great numbers, possibly leading to their association with the beginning of life in the world. Blah, blah, blah. She was mentioned in the pyramid texts of the Old Kingdom and was variously thought to have been a form of the goddess Nut or the goddess Hathor. She may have originally been the female counterpart of the ram-headed creation god Khnum, who shaped the form of humans on a potter's wheel, or of the crocodile god Sebek Re of Kamobo. She was said to be present at the conception of Queen Hetsibel as her role as birth goddess, witnessing the scene as Khnum formed Hetsibel's body on his potter's wheel. So, what does this all mean? What does it all mean, Basil? What is that from? Austin Powers? Well, I did have it pulled up. So anyway, why would God be interested in punishing this? Well, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? They're trying to take credit for his creation. They're trying to hijack it and say that they're the ones, or this frog goddess is the one responsible for things like birth, fertility, placing children in mothers' wombs, creation. So that might tick off God the Creator just a little bit, I would think. And so have we seen a resurgence of this ideology, and do frogs appear elsewhere, specifically in maybe the book of Revelation, aka the Apocalypse? And I would say yes. Revelation 16:13. And you're going to find this fascinating. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs coming out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. Period. One sentence, super powerful, gives total meaning to events, current events, and historical events. So we have the apocalypse, literally meaning the unveiling, saying that the frogs are are unclean spirits. And out of the mouth, so the ones speaking these false ideologies and influenced by these unclean frog spirits of fertility, the dragon, the unholy trinity of the dragon, the false prophet, and the beast. Now, there's several interpretations. I'm probably not going to get into the whole thing about who the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet are, but you can look at them. Yes, they will be personified, most likely, but they're also systems. So these systems, this unholy trinity that kind of makes up a new order of things, a false order, if you will, is speaking. Out of their mouth comes the unclean frog spirits. And so to me, what this looks like is them portraying a false power just like Heket did. Trying to convince people that they have the power of the basic elements, the basic building blocks of life, which are what? Fertility, birth, and death, and resurrection. That they somehow have the power over all these things. When as Christians, we know who has the power over these things, but we now live in a neo-pagan world, so this is now working again. And so you see like what's going on in the country right now. Huge civil war outbreak basically over, do you have a right? Who has a right to proclaim what life is? Who has a right to proclaim if you can kill that life, and at what stage, and all these questions and all this stuff, right? But you also see it out of the mouth of the New World Order, quite literally. The communist dragon New World Order, like in China, where they kill the boy or they kill the girls and not the boys. You see it in the eugenics movements, where Hitler wanted to do away with the Jews. You see it in the eugenics movement of Planned Parenthood, where they are racist and want all the blacks to kill themselves. You see it out of the mouths of um, Klaus Schwab there, the World Economic Forum, Bill Gates. The earth is overpopulated. To save the earth, we have to do a good job with contraception. We have to do a good job with abortion in order to save the planet. We can't reproduce. We have to be our own gods. And it's inspired by this false frog goddess. And that's why out of the mouth, I suspect, of this unholy trinity comes these unclean spirits. And so this is also prevalent in the medical community. And I found a group, a subsidiarity kind of daughter organization of biotech that is into, you guessed it, mRNA technology. And it's called Heqet, Heqet Therapeutics. And what they do is they develop, and I'm not even joking, they use the word regenerate. We develop groundbreaking genetic medicines to reverse the damage of heart disease, the leading cause of death worldwide. Our therapeutic approach aims to regenerate the heart and life's promise. And they use mRNA technology. And so you see this whole idea of we can play God. That it's what God used Moses to prove to the magicians, and to the Egyptian people, and to Pharaoh, that he was God Almighty. He ultimately had power over their God of life and death. Okay? And so what we see happening is, again, because that God had fooled them into thinking that she was responsible, that she had really hijacked the creation and took it away from God in ancient Egypt. And so we see that happening again, only it's these systems of this new world order of the beast, the false prophet, and the dragon. And we see these entities proclaiming to be God. There was a scientist literally saying we are gods now, or something outrageous. Klaus Schwab's main guy over there. Look it up. You'll find it. And so they really think that they are the gods of fertility. Look at in vitro fertilization, contraception, abortion. They are the gods of death. Look at euthanasia, abortion again, eugenics, population control. They think they hold the keys to the perfect human race that they're trying to develop, and they're gonna transcend, death. They're gonna resurrect, transcend death with their machines and their AI, and they don't need God. Well, I suspect that what's about to happen here on Earth worldwide is going to make the plagues of Egypt look like child's play. So I think they're in for a bit of a rude awakening. But maybe not. Maybe they'll never figure it out until after it's already too late. I don't know. But I found that so fascinating. And so if you look at people like Sister Anne, I think her name is, she considers the dragon to be communism, the beast to be Freemasonry, the sea beast to be Freemasonry, and the land beast, I think, to be more of the secret societies, non-ecumenical, non-ecclesiastic, I can't say that word, the non-church Freemasons. Because there's the anti-church, which would be like personified by eventually the false prophet, who will probably be a man, but the anti-church. And look at what they're doing with the gays. Okay, so it's this whole weird thing. And then it's so disordered that they're saying men can be pregnant. That's what I'm saying. They think they have this perfect power. You don't even need women now to have a baby. Like, it's so strange. Like, they're totally under this weird, demonic, probably frog goddess, at least as one of them. So anyway, this isn't really going to be a long video, but it's profound. It's prophetic. It was so interesting to tie these together. And so like if you want to worship a frog goddess, by all means. I'm gonna opt for the God of Moses, though, and his son Jesus Christ. Personally, that's me. But y'all can make your own decisions. So anyway, all right, guys, that's it. Hopefully this one works. Sorry, it's probably, I don't know. Like I said, it's a short one. There's probably a ton of more information on it, but you get like the gist of it. So today is also the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Immaculate Heart of Mary, pray for us. Joan of Arc Media out.